Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Erothian Unofficial Spoiler Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Fansexel.
As usual, SilencioSteve here, people.
So, we got a brand new series this week with this episode zeros coming out
Unfortunately,
on
only two
Wednesday.
of them, but I definitely enjoyed one of them.
Jake is always the one who has to wait. That's what I meant. I meant that obviously as a joke because Jake chose to roll last on Warmonger. He always has to wait now. So,
Yeah,
that's the only thing I was talking about.
but as usual, I guess we shall start with Regicide.
Yeah.
Because who needs order in their life?
Regicide's enemy this week was fun.
Yeah, a lot of people don't remember that Stream worked together to make that one. I did.
Yeah. No, I didn't. I was like, whose villain is this dude?
Yeah. I remember it's either LD or SG that chose. I think SG chose
Chose the name Bob.
name as well as the alignment, and then LD chose the class. I don't remember who chose Neuromosin. It might have been Josh. Um,
You know what? I think I popped in right when he did ask you the name because I remember her just saying Bob. And I was like, what? I'm so bad. Now that you say it, I completely remember that name.
it was funny, and it was
Yeah.
definitely was a fun little. Uh, we're being followed.
Ophiel's being the paranoid who was right.
Q spinning in a chair with fingers in the air. Fuck you, I was right. Fuck you, I was right.
Oh man, that's so good. But let's start from the beginning. The party ends up popping that crate open and jumping down, and Yadis trying to do something cool because he was trying to mitigate damage, ends up causing himself damage while everyone else is fine. So
Well, they could have just chucked a stone, but I guess 30 points of damage also proves the point too. Yeah.
wait, this isn't the first time he's used that ability, all right?
No, it's not the first time he's used that teleport, but I mean, Scott did say before that it's a case of, well, you're still accelerating.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter
yeah,
what point you are. Once you hit the point of acceleration, you're hurting.
yeah. You're gonna take damage, right? So there is that. Afterwards, after all of them jump down, Rena ends up finding a special little item.
That canonically smells like rotten onions and vinegar.
Right, right.
Yes, she has some wonderful timing.
Was this was his engraving actually canon?
I
W.
don't know what the engraving was in the first place, so you're gonna have to tell me
It
that.
was okay. Because I haven't seen up to this episode mostly because I keep trying to take notes for everything else. But the Stinky Pinky.
I don't remember. I don't remember any engravings on the Stinky Pinky and Lost Initiative. That's because I don't pay that much attention to Lost Initiative because it happens not working.
Oh,
And
okay.
also, we don't take notes for Lost Initiative, so
Well, the engraving was GWB. The only reason I remember that is because great weapon, and then there's a B. I couldn't figure out what the
yeah,
B
well,
would stand for.
they
You
were
know.
talking about it, but I don't know whether it was because they're still mainly joking. Yeah, and you know how the two people who've suffered the most from diseases, Reno and Ophius, right? And how jumping down there was a sort of deep pool of filth that they landed in to cushion the blow. Yeah, there were two net ones to avoid disease at one point, I believe, or something like that. There were two net ones somewhere for con saves.
They haven't experienced what the diseases do yet, so we'll see.
I
We'll
guess
see
you
what
could
they
call it
are.
a lucky dip. If there's any chaos god that loves these guys, it's Nurgle.
Yeah.
Though to be fair, he loves everybody.
Oh man. The Stinky Beacon Ring is actually probably the savior of the day because of it, Rena is able to find the way out of the sewers.
So there's a jungle out there.
It's a something. Sewers, tunnels, whatever you want to call it. A bunch of shit with flowing water. That's what it is.
And lots of corridors. Yeah, having a way out underground is always nice. And they come across another big old grate where you'd have to bust it down. You couldn't lift it. And it's got all sorts of rubbish that's been artificially piled there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's another corridor that goes off that Rena's ring tells you, oh, this is the way out. Well, let's just say the mushroom density increases from there.
That's now that they end up coming up on a bunch of shriekers, and we're just gonna skip the entire part at the entire argument at this part of Scott hating 5e for every single thing that he doesn't agree with, rather than changing it.
I mean,
So
I'd
we'll
argue
just
it'd
skip
be a
that.
bit more difficult to hold your breath in shit water than it'd be to hold your breath in ordinary water.
Right,
But
right,
that's
right,
just
right.
me.
You know,
Yeah,
he's the DM. He has the ability to change it, so whatever. It's fine. We're not gonna keep going on with all the arguments.
yeah. So
Right. So they end up coming up on the Shriekers, and they go underwater to be able to swim, not swim past them, but get past them without their scent being prevalent. And
the water does clear out close towards these mushrooms too, so it's not as bad.
yeah. There's that too.
Oh yeah, so they already tested the Shriekers first, which probably didn't help in the first place in order to figure out how to get past them. So I mean, you set the alarm once, they're already going to assume there's intruders.
But at that point, our lovely friend was already following them
Mm,
because Ophios picked up that he was following them back before they came up to that giant
great, yep.
gr- vertical grate blocking their path. So Ophios is able to pick that up, and then I think it was later on, right before the outcropping, that he was able to pick it up as well. So
Mm. Yeah, I call bullshit because it's stealth focus, but oh well.
hey, look. He's the one who said it's making those terrible, horrible noises.
Honestly, just needs a DJ Mason freaking remix of just the Shriekers and Slug. They should say it's a good thing Shiny didn't turn up when the Shriekers came in.
Yeah. Let's say that. So the party end up getting past the Shriekers, and they come up on a colony of other mushrooms, who spot them almost immediately and puff up and spew just giant cloud of spores.
Yeah, you can't see and you hear voices in your head.
Which Giannis was pretty much fine with. Almost immediately, as soon as he stood back up. I mean, he wasn't fine with it at first because obviously they did that whole "oh shit" and then jumped under the water, which perfectly made sense because they've never
He
seen
also
an
did roll the
unrealized
lowest of the
creature.
Constitution after popping up, so he was a coughing wreck for a while.
Yep. And then once he did that, he's trying to like calm them down and say, "Hey, look, we just want a way out," and they're like, "Get the fuck out of here, dude. We don't know who you are."
Insert that Kermit gif of like where he's playing the banjo on Family Guy in the swamp or whatever, and someone asks him directions. He goes, "Back the way you came, buddy."
Yeah, I forgot that gif. That gif
Oh,
encompasses everything. Oh man.
we can't climb up. We can't climb back up. You can get down. You can climb back up. They're probably rather worried that something might have followed them down. Oh wait, something did.
Yep.
And so there's a great big stinking cloud that hits them. There's still that obscuring mist that's around them. Yonder still doesn't have much in the way of luck with Constitution saves.
Wait, there was one thing I wanted to point out was that Yondis told the truth while not admitting that they are the ones who killed the Yavin here, which he seems to be able to do a lot of. It's like,
To be honest, I don't think they would have cared.
nope, not at all.
I don't think they would have known who that was or what the heck that meant.
But he told them anyway, so.
And when Bob pops up, everyone else just goes, "Other way!"
Dude, I love how the Neverminded were like, "Oh, it's Bob." That reminds me of oh, what is it?
I remember there's a martial arts movie where called Kung Pao, where Way of the Fear or something like that, where the enemy,
Oh,
the bad guy goes, "You'll now call me Betty."
Yup. Yeah, I remember that. I did. That didn't remind me of that, but yep, I can see it now.
So I was like, but that's not a very intimidating name. I think he's killed.
The only thing that this situation reminded me of is like the little green men from the Toy Story or Buzz Lightyear show or whatever the hell it was. But yeah.
I mean, they're technically a hive mind too.
I think there was one who wasn't, and they were afraid of him. At some, I don't remember where that is because I don't think it's
that's
in Toy Story,
I think that's in the animated series for Buzz Lightyear. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Which kind of mirrored in this episode. Huh.
When Bob shows up, that was like the this is like the best fucking intro for a villain. The way it's like he just rolls up, and everybody's like, okay, like it felt like a spaghetti western. That's what.
Yeah.
The bad guy just rolls up and shoots off his gun, and everyone starts panicking all of a sudden.
Yeah. So, a pity that he's. It's a pity that Druid's not really that great for AC, and these guys hit like train and almost killed him instantly. Except for the meld into stone thing.
Yeah. Oh man.
But then again, something so tiny being so resilient is a bit of a what the fuck's this thing made out of? Freaking steel?
Wait, do you think Delaric added the Pathfinder boost to AC for it?
Nah, because you converted it through 5e.
Right. But I was just saying, like, he might have just added the +2 because it's an NPC. You can do that kind of thing when you're making NPCs.
Are you telling Scott to fudge the dice?
No one has to know what the AC is equal to, okay? That's all I'm saying. This is an NPC. Sometimes you just gotta make it up.
Yeah.
Long as it's consistent. Like, well, as long as you're not saying the AC was 17 and all of a sudden it's 21 out of nowhere, you're fine.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good fight. Really fun. It was really fun fight. One unfortunate thing is what Doug was saying because of what you were saying that Messi said is the team is all martial, so they're able to dish out over 100 hit points of damage in one turn.
Yeah. And Messi was the only one to actually take any actual damage from Rob in the first round, the first time. and very nearly died in the second one.
Great crowd control, though. Great crowd control. Bob had some amazing crowd control spells.
Yeah.
So much so that he ended up killing most of the Namamycin down there. So
Oh,
unfortunate for them.
there were 7, and they got 3 of them away. The other 4 got eaten alive by insects. After a wall being put into place so they couldn't go back to their colony, which Ophios managed to convince Rena to help make a hole so the Namamycin could escape through, even though she really just wanted to kill everything. She really wanted those stir-fried mushrooms.
I like how Rena got into the character Rena's head the entire time. She's like, I'm tired of being in this damn sewer and I just want to go. I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah, and after the fight, it was revealed that if they just got past the wall, they would have gotten out and left the Namamycin to their fate. I bet she really was kicking herself for a while.
I was gonna say the funny thing though is right after they killed Bob, the other mushroom people decided to just tear him up and hand him off, turn him into tea. Just like poor Bob.
Yeah, well, give a foot, the slug got away.
I guess he deserves it. He killed his whole entire
Colony, yeah.
his entire colony. His name Bob the Defoliator.
Defoliator, yeah, Defoliator.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, well, he's gained his own sentience. He's not a hive mind like everyone else. He's not part of it. And seemed a lot more powerful than the rest of the ones that were in the freaking hive mind. So what happens if you find another Namamycin like that?
Yeah, that's where he. Oh man, it makes me wonder what Mycin's what happened to Mycin? Did he turn his whole colony into
well, I suppose we could skip over the little freaking funny bit where Tyler mentioned what he thought of when Scott was describing the little mushroom hands.
Oh yeah.
Poor Rita. Oh, she was so red there for a moment. This was Scott. I'm laughing so hard. Why'd you have to do it? Why do you have to do it that way? It just made me think of dick fingers. Why'd you have to go there, Tyler? Look, I hang out with Wade and all them for way too long. Of course, when I think about dick fingers.
Dude, there were so many innuendos this entire session.
Well, sewers and mushroom tips, right?
Yep, you're right. You're in the gutter. I guess you gotta think like you're in the gutter.
And then they realize they wasted that tea because they're in a position where they could have taken a long rest. And the healing potion did like 70 health. Oh.
And then they tried to argue against it. Like, wait, we wouldn't have taken the help if you didn't force us to. It's like, I didn't.
You weren't forced to. You didn't have to make the tea right then and there. You chose to, though. Personally, I would have waited till you cleaned up first.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then Ophios realizes we're cleaning each other as much as we can. This one particular smell of rotten onions and vinegar won't go away.
It got it through safety, okay? They can deal with a little bit of a smell for now.
Yeah. I know it also came up in this episode, but like people have being sympathetic gaggers and that sort of thing, right? Like, and Tyler said, "Why don't you do it to Mathis instead?" I'm like, you remember he has, right? Particularly back in that campaign where Bayshore was, because I gave a certain animate dead ring for Wade, and Wade had to eat the undead.
It was you who gave the ring? Oh, man. Oh.
I still laugh at the two big jokes that came from that one. There's that bit where everyone's just absolutely horrified about what it originally does. And then the bit where like having an army of zombie children and that sort of thing. I think like Scott just starts singing "We Are, We Are," and then Wade goes, "I just had a way more disturbing thought. What if I failed the saves every single time? Because it's the failed saves that cause them to eat the undead." And Scott's just, why?
Oh my
Why did you
God.
go there? Why?
Oh man. Oh,
There've been a
so
lot
yeah,
of fun rooms that have come up in Lost Initiative, and now one of them is
yeah.
joined the room. I can't claim credit for that one though.
As soon as I can stop doing 60-hour days, I'm gonna start watching Lost Initiative again. So hopefully that's pretty soon. But I'm sorry. One other thing I wanted to reference was how easily and Messi can just destroy some of Delric's criticisms about things. Like when Ophius decided he was gonna help Rena break down the wall by just shooting a bunch of Eldritch blast, and at the wall. And he was like, like the emo anime moment where they just go rah rah rah. And he was like, so you mean like Inclimé limit breakers? He just shut up all of a
Well, is
sudden.
it or is it not like that, Scott? We need an answer.
Yeah, it's so good.
I mean, I know I'm voting for Inclimé, but just
We seem to get more and more anime every time. So every... Also, a little thing came up. Um, Particularly Rosin took offense, and as Steve and Rosin are my party members, I will say that the New Zealand and Aussie flags are different. What I believe is otherwise, but I will
well,
say it on the record.
let's just say that one extra star didn't lead us to going to war with native wildlife. It's just a Kiwi Aussie thing.
Yeah, I just love that Rosin was screaming in chat. We're not the same. Oh man.
Yeah, we're just always competitive with each other.
We're gonna go to Warmonger because there's some fun little bits in Inclimé for this week that
Well, that's the very first part. So
yeah. But you know, something happened there that I'm pretty sure Steve wants to really talk about. So let's just
but yeah, we can go to Warmonger, but Warmonger was basically first part of it was troubleshooting making an army, where Jake was the only one to not get it in the first try, but they ended up with 50 from Jake, 50 from Cell, and 20 cavalry from Nick. Eventually.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the rule said that if you failed, you only got half as much. I think Jake thought he didn't get any.
No, I think it was that you didn't succeed, but you got a bonus to trying to do it next time.
No, that was on top of that. Because you definitely got the bonus for the +5, but I remember when he failed, it was Delric said you were only able to like amass half as much, and then you get a +5 to try it again next time. Because I know it was,
I think that's because it's not ready to go yet. Like it's halfway there. Moving on a prayer. Okay. Whoa.
I should know you were going to sing that song.
I mean, I could have done the SpongeBob thing instead if you liked. I'm already halfway there. Halfway there.
I know Bon Jovi a little bit more. So. By the time SpongeBob came out, I think I was like middle school, and I was an edgy middle schooler, and I was like, too cool for damn SpongeBob. I watched Dragon Ball Z instead. Thank you very much.
Goddamn. After like the first season of Dragon Ball, I couldn't watch it just because it got to the point where He's still charging up three fucking episodes later. Well, I'll go watch something that actually something happens, and thank you very much.
It depends on what age you were watching it. Because as like a 10-year-old kid, Dragon Ball Z was the coolest shit ever. Until you started to grow up and realize that nothing happens in Dragon Ball Z, and they're just padding out the time.
I tried
for
rewatching Yu-Gi-Oh like a while back, and like, oh shit, this is just as bad as Dragon Ball. I didn't fucking realize it.
I can't keep going back. Oh man. So Tesla was able to amass an army. He decided not to go with all elite soldiers.
Yeah, he was going to go with 100 elite soldiers, and then he was going to go. No, was it Jake or was it him that was going to go for 200 freaking ordinary soldiers?
That was Jake at first.
That was Jake at first, right?
Mm-hmm.
100 ordinary soldiers. Let's make it 50.
Yeah, Tesla was like, "Yeah, we're gonna get our best soldiers. We're gonna amass. How much does that cost? And how much of a hit to loyalty is that? Well, you see, maybe we just get some regular soldiers out there."
Well, it's more than one. Jake should just be really thankful that he got more than one, and that dealing with the Piran wasn't so bad for Cell, which totally doesn't enforce a certain perception a certain crazy cultist has of Cell's kingdom.
So yeah, that's basically what they were doing for the what was that, like the first hour?
Yeah, it's like the first half, and then we went into Jake's because everyone else had done all their events and things like that. We went into Jake's side of it.
So jumping into the RP section, we have Daxul returning over to Varix, letting him know that the tribe was coming.
The British are coming. The British are coming. The tribe is coming. The tribe is coming.
And they got little time, so they need to do something about that.
and basically convince the remnants of the other tribe, hey, either you do most of the fighting and we help you, and then you can join us and not be extinct, or we'll attack both. Like pretty much let you get destroyed and attack the other guys and see if not they're worthy of joining us.
Mm-hmm. One other thing to point out, though, as Daxul said that he didn't see any spirits around the that other tribe. He was saying that at first he was around them and he thought that they were just like super rowdy or whatever. But it turns out that there's actually not many warriors over there, and that they were starving. They were starving and get ready to eat the young and the old. So
that's what the other tribe wanted to do, and that's when curses came back.
No, this is with them starving. This is like they were
the other tribe. So the other tribe was looking at them and going, lead all the young and the old, and then we'll take whoever's left to join up with us as more of our fighters. And that was when curses came.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I thought that was after he sent curses to go and get the to go and negotiate, which curses did very well.
Not as well as all the other events, but that's because all the other events were easier.
Yeah, hers was a little bit more tough, but Varix goes to Herzog and pretty much asks about the tribe and their situation, and he says, Karuk. Yeah, and if they want to, this is what you were saying, if they want to join, then they need to prove themselves.
Yeah, these this tribe of half-starved individuals, or starving individuals, are going to have to prove themselves. I think just surviving the fight will be proving themselves.
And he was saying that if they get wiped out by the other tribe, problem solved. If they wipe out the other tribe, problem solved. If neither join, then Densho comes in and they just destroy everyone. So problem solved.
I hope those 50 know what they're doing then.
Either way, in Urzog's eyes, it's a win-win-win situation. So,
Yeah. And we also had Doxel saying there's a albino boar in Barrenlands that the Ashen Walk should have to kill. Let me just say, those boars aren't anything to be freaking underestimated.
the best way.
The ordinary ones of them, you either kill them at range, or you run faster than the guy next to you. Because and also the moment they start squealing, all the other boars around go, "Ooh, food!" and they all start running up.
Oh man, that's great.
So if you want to kill one for food, make sure you leave a lot of it there, so they have something to stop and fight over, so you can go with whatever you got away with. So there's a lot of speculation amongst a lot of adventuring groups and things like that amongst the patrons. Maybe, just maybe, it's either going to be really big or it's going to be in charge of a lot of boars.
It's the Ashen Boar. All the other boar follow it just because.
So, there's also speculation that maybe because it's albino, they're going to try and stay away from it. But the other boars, I mean, not of course, Cospheric is going after it. Yeah. So we don't see that as being easy.
But Doxel says that Varix can handle it and not to go to his other advisors because they're all six in the mud and they're all going to be like, Varix, you're too old for this. Let us help you and blah, blah, blah. And Doxel's like, nah, dude, you got to prove yourself. You got to be the one who went out there and took care of that white boar so that all the other clans around here respect you the way they should. And Varix is like, let's fucking do it.
Yeah, knowing what I know about boars, I think that's just Derek being a little asshole.
Listen, man, when you got a good hype man, they can get you to do anything.
Yeah.
Doxel's just being a good hype man right now.
Yeah. Scott also said that he noticed that if you want Varix to do anything, just be the first guy to ask him to do something. That Jake has a proclivity towards picking the guy that asks him's option.
When Jake listens to this, he's gonna be a lot more cautious about who he says yes and no to from now on.
I mean, you already had all the time to learn that in Kingmaker.
And then, so Varix ends up putting Curses on the job to go and gather the Spearhead Tribe's remnants.
That was to go investigate them. That was to go convince the other tribe to get into the fight, sort of thing.
Yeah, well, she was going to tell them that the Spearhead Tribe, hey, if you guys want to survive, we're willing to let you come into this tribe. And she was like, she immediately asked, "Can I kill them?" He was like, "What?" She said, "If they, get out of line, I want to kill them." No, they have a task. But if they fail the task, then yeah, I don't give a shit what the hell you do. And she's like, "Perfect." And then she goes off and does her thing. That's why I think it was a little bit more weird how she ended up doing it the way she did it. But hey, man, I respect it.
Then we had Spymaster finding out there's a caravan that's gotten really freaking lost.
Well, that's after what happens with is it Narin and Tessel? Yeah, Narin and Tessel. The kingdom rolls come last because that's when I realized that. I mean that's when I did the first half, and then I think it was Wednesday night. I just watch the entire rest of it. And I definitely remember Wednesday night was when I was laughing about uh, what Tilric was saying about Jake. Right. And
as a
they're
proper
basically gonna
tribe.
run over
Yeah.
they're gonna run over the spearhead remnants easily.
Yeah.
So that's when he started setting up that 100 people with and giving them ranged weapons. And he was saying, yeah, these ranged weapons are going to be able to take. Oh, I'm sorry. Cell was saying that the ranged weapons are going to be able to do massive amounts of damage, especially on the flat plains of the barren lands. Like they're going to wipe out the other tribe because they don't have nearly as efficient ranged weapons. So, and then I think they also at that point got a letter from Naito, and with Tessel's request to say that they're going to be bringing. They're setting up an army, and after they deal with the defensive Paradel, I'm sorry, not the defensive Paradel. After they're done defending themselves from Paradel, that he would be able to use the army however he needed to. So there was that.
Yeah, this all comes under the when they were making the armies time,
Yeah.
not the second
That's
half. They were okay.
not. Yeah, I'm not on the second half yet. Oh, this is what I wanted to bring up though, is that when he failed, Jake was like, "All right, it's time to go bring in Mortifer," and Sel was like, "It sounds like slavery to me."
I
And Jake
mean,
was like,
long-winded stories to motivate people. That doesn't happen, Jake. Unless you want to bore them into action, but you're more likely to bore them to sleep.
I think that was the last thing that actually happened. But yeah, so apparently Mortifer was trying to whip up his his clan into some kind of action. But let me see. Then the next point is Naren, and I think Akram is able to finally get over to the Kujibachi clan, and he begins telling them about how Clan Fok works.
Yeah,
One of the
Clan
things he's
Michael.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. He was saying that they're blasphemers and that they follow they don't follow the small amount of rules that Vroga has. And they will take any opportunity for attack or subterfuge if they see Kujibashi as a threat. And then Naren was saying, okay, well, how about, we bait them into doing something and then they to breaking the law and then we report them for it. And Akram was like, I mean, I don't really like the subterfuge thing, which is why I left. But I, it it's easy.
And there's that little rewind portion, of course.
Oh yeah, about how Akram ended up joining the clan. So I mean,
No, the
Nisho's
little
clan.
rewind portion was Naren going, "So can we get Densho help on this?" And he's like,
Oh
"Actually,
yeah. That's what you're
what
talking
what, what 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 do we tell him if he asks for support?"
about. Yeah.
But apparently,
So
Densho has his back. We just have to wait and see. It's whether or not they mean Reno way or ordinary way.
yeah. And then Narwin decides to make a platoon of cavalry, and he sends them south to assist. I believe it was Shado he was going to assist
Densho,
because of Paradel.
Densho,
It was
because
Denjo.
they're preparing to fight with the tribes.
Okay, because I thought he was sending them originally to
I
Shado
don't think
because
Naren's sending
Shado
many
was
troops to Shadow unless he absolutely has to, because of how far
yeah,
away
yeah,
they
yeah.
are.
Well, the whole thing was like the whole thing he was sending them there was because um Cecil was like, yeah, we should be fine. and then because
Yeah, which would
he
be the reason why
originally
he wouldn't send it because he's fine.
no. Well, remember originally, but this is before they did the negotiations. Originally, before he was saying, "Oh yeah, he wrote in a letter that we'll probably be fine," and he was like, "Did you write probably in the letter?" Because originally Narn wasn't even going to make a platoon. He wasn't going to make anything. And then he was like, "We're probably going to be fine." And he's like, "Did you write probably in the letter?" Most likely. And he's like, "God damn it, I'm making I'm making an army, Delric." Because I think he was more concerned about Paradel than the tribe.
Yeah,
that,
I just don't
that
think that
Den-
he would have picked up only 20 cavalry if it was Peridot. I think that'd
yeah,
be
well,
something that
he
he would have expended the entire coffers on.
no. He was trying to not spend that much because it was
Yeah, which
expensive
leads
for
me.
cavalry. Cavalry
Yeah,
was
yeah,
expensive.
yeah, it is. Which leads me to think, yeah, it wasn't Peridot that he was after. Because
I'm
Peridot
pretty
has,
sure it was Paradel. Oh,
because Peridot has a
all right,
huge
well,
number
whatever.
there.
Yeah, but because I thought it was pretty much Paradel because he wasn't worried about Densho, and then
I
once
think Pincho would
what's
also
his name?
help.
No, yeah, Densho actually they both did.
They also help from both Shadow and Thing, and Tesla's like, I got to deal with this Peridot thing first, but afterwards, we'll send them to you. If
You know
everything
what?
goes
Whatever.
well, we'll send them to you.
Whatever. It doesn't really matter. Anyway, because there was no fight against Paradel
Hmm.
because Aaliyah rolled very well, and she brought a few score of soldiers with her, and she ended up having negotiations with the Battle Centurion, informing him that his borders for Paradel were completely, well, not completely wrong, but they were more extended than they should have been, and and that they needed to be fixed. And he said that he would do so. But she also came back with some information about why they were there, and apparently they were looking to have an expedition into the Barren Lands to do some trading.
Or recruiting.
And
Or press gang.
yeah, yeah, an endeavor into the Barren Lands. I'm sorry. The actual thing was to form unity between the nearby tribes. So,
Hmm.
the Paradel way.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise
um,
if Inclimé suddenly had a Baronland's Orc regiment.
she also informs them that there are three groups. One of them led by a battle
uh,
centurion.
you're talking about those, right? Not the traps.
Yeah, 100 troops. Two with battle tacticians, which each have 50 troops, and there's a lieutenant centurion going between giving the orders from the battle centurion to the battle tacticians. So anyway, she's successful. She gives all this information over to um, Naito and Tessel, and through letter, and says that she'll be back in a little while. And then Tessel's like, "Yeah, we have nothing to worry about. I trust Aaliyah. She's perfectly fine. As long as no one drops a trump card, we should be fine."
Or Curse. I mean, just saying,
Oh,
Curse has got a better track record of killing.
that's true. But Naito, hearing this, actually has a bit of an idea in his head, and he's like, because uh, Varix is the one dealing with the Barren Lands, that maybe there's an opportunity to use Paradel as a bit of an olive branch, and
Yeah, that's not happening. That's not happening.
have
That's not
things work
happening.
out
That's not
there.
happening. It wouldn't be an olive branch. It would be a suppressing foam.
Tesla being the wise PC decides, hey, I don't want to fuck up anything Varix may have going, so you need to go get his approval before I just say yeah to anything. And then Naito is like, well, if you let me do it, I'll go off. And of course, Tessel, being Tessel, he says, sure, buddy, go do what you need to do. We jump forward to Naito meeting with Densho, which is, and Varix has a couple of people with him, Varix, Urzog, Sarush, Arathel, and Lyra. They're all in the meeting, and Naito basically informs them about everything, the situation going on with Paradel and how they plan on making deals in the Barren Lands. And Varix, after hearing this, cautions Naito about Paradel, and he also cautions them about the Barren Lands people, the tribes. I'm sorry, not people, Barren Lands tribes. And he says, you know, Paradel has had quote unquote endeavors in the past, and they've all failed. So, one of the reasons being, if even if Paradel offers something or feeds a tribe or whatever, the tribe has no feeling of obligation to return that payment. So, but he says that there are some tribes that worship the lady, which I'm guessing is Lady Aravel, and
Well,
just a
it's not a
different
render,
name
that's
from
for sure.
just a different name. That's true. But I've never actually heard her referred to as just the lady, so that's why I wrote it down like that. But anyway, um, but yeah, Aravel, and that those tribes could be dangerous.
No kidding.
And then Naito explains his plan. You know, hey, let's use them as a way to have the tribes gain favor with us, and Paradel's giving them things, but Paradel might say that how great of people we were, and they might be more willing to trade with us, and then Varix gets the council of his members, his advisors, and he's like, "Hey, Arathel, what do you think about this?" And
No, it was
Arathel's like,
Vera. It was Vera. It was the
"No,
one
no,
who's
the first
calling him.
person's Arathel,
No, the first person
and
was
he
Lyra, who's called him a fucking idiot. And then
no, no, no,
Erethdel
no,
joined
no.
up.
This is why Naito was still here. While Naito was still there, he asked Arathel, and Arathel was like, "The situation could be beneficial, but we need to contemplate it on it." And then Sarush said, "I'm all about that trade, but things could turn badly." And that's when he looked towards Lyra, and Lyra's like, "I have, something
Thoughts.
to say. Yeah, I have something to say, but he was like, but you want to be alone?" And that's when Naito left, and she was like, "That dude's a fucking moron."
Yeah, yeah. That plan's way too optimistic.
Yeah, but Arathel actually clarifies his statement right after that, saying that he agrees with Lyra and that it would be beneficial because they would be able to send out word to the tribe that Paradel is going toward, and that way they could gain favor with some of the tribes in the Barren Lands, while also being able to take out Paradel. A win-win for their tribe. And Sarush being a bit dour because they wouldn't make nearly as much of a profit as they would if Paradel actually succeeded with that trade and they were getting a piece of it, is like, at least there'd be equipment, so we'll be able to take that, I guess. And then they meet up with Naito, and
Jake Kroll's a very poorly on sense motive and
yeah,
thinks he's got his blessing.
yeah, that was a crazy thing. Like, it was a good thing that they, I guess, and I know why Jake did it, is that they decided to tell him the truth.
Yeah.
It was mostly because Jake didn't want to fuck over Cell. Being honest, otherwise, if it was just some NPC, I don't think he would have cared nearly as much. But because it was Cell, it was probably like, yeah, we probably shouldn't fuck over this other player, so we're just gonna tell him the truth. And of course, yeah, he rolled that natty one, and it was bad. But Dencho thinks it's fine.
Yeah.
They have no problems with it.
Well, Varix doesn't. I'm sure Erothian does.
And that's when we jump into Jake finally getting to be able to roll his kingdom rolls. There's a portion that we were explicitly asked not to say.
Well, there's a portion where it
So
explicitly said not to say that we'd hoped to have Jake on, and so that we could get around it by having him say it, because he had explicitly asked for us to talk about it, so they could be reminded about it. And
Right.
Scott had said, "Don't remind him about it." So we can't remind him about the location of those 3 tribes, or we can't remind him about what happened in the community game, or we can't remind him about a couple of other things. But
you know,
I mean,
how Paradel is not as big of a force as they might be because of other reasons.
yeah, because the community game royally messed up the region. That's the sort of thing we just can't remind them about, unfortunately. Sorry, we got vetoed.
You know, if only there was a timestamp that we had somewhere around that 3-hour mark, maybe 45 minutes after the 3-hour mark. I don't know. If only there was that timestamp. Oh well. Sorry guys, I forgot to write it down. But also according to the roles, Akram was able to give a considerable amount of help to Kujibashi clan.
It was a +5, wasn't it? Something like that.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Yeah.
That's when Kirsis comes back all beaten up, battered, and saying that the endeavor went well. And he's like, I love how Varix doesn't even blink an eye at that entire situation. He's just like, everything went good? Yep. It's like she came back brutal, battered, and bloody. Oh man. Also, she doesn't intend to be on the battlefield. So.
Mm-hmm. I better not be on that battlefield. I believe was the quote.
And then there's the the fun event of the dangerous settlement.
Yeah, that was fun. That was generally fun. I know I complained about not being able to roll anything anymore, but I love that roll.
The event was the plague. And because luckily for Jake, because he didn't have all these things, I don't think his modifier was that low.
Like he got the road and the stockyards where the things increased the modifier for him. Yeah. Otherwise,
so because he didn't have a bunch of those buildings, he didn't suffer that big of a modifier. But I think he ends up taking
because he passed both of them. It only ended up being stability -2 permanently, and the D3 from economy, which took out a BP instead. Okay, it should have been to the economy modifier, but oh well, I suppose it's cheaper.
Well, no, because then he rolled another one, which is that was the economic boon, and that was that's where he was supposed to.
No, he's got
a D4.
He's got those D6s. Yeah, Scott described it as.
Oh, was it D6? Yeah, you're right. D6.
Yeah. Scott described it as -2 stability and minus a D3 economy. That's the words he used with that one. So.
And then he got that economic boon and only got 1 BP. So
yeah, so.
Sucked.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm happy you got the 3, Jake.
Shout out to Cell though for saying that he used the podcast as his memory. Another thing is I didn't know that. The entire time I thought Cell was adding the G and Narin's name, calling him Ganarin, as a character thing. Like that was what Tesla was doing, because that's what Tesla would probably do. It seems like something Tesla would do.
I'd expect Tesla to have spoken the name more than read the name, so I don't see why he would pick up G immediately.
Well, it just seemed like a fun character thing. He probably read the name, read the G, and then it was like, oh, that thing can't be silent. So he just calls him Ganarin, and because Narin never actually corrects him, like I think he said the last session that he never corrected him before, because he never corrects him.
Fair's fair, I suppose. Fair's fair.
And last but not least, we can get into the new stuff, which is Inclimé.
Yeah. We only got to see session zeros for Neil and Tish.
Yep.
It's
a little bit of a different order this time, but Neil is still going first.
Yeah, but the luck was completely changed around between those two.
Yep.
Normally it's Tish that has all the ones, and Neil has all the 20s, and yeah.
I think for Tesh to be able to roll so many good rolls that session though is really good, especially for the type of character he had, like super lawful, always doing things perfectly, like that kind of guy. So I think the rolls really help play that out. All right, so we can jump into Tristan, who is Neil's character, which
I think it's like the third or fourth time that someone's used the same name again for like PCs
Tristan?
and NPCs. Yeah,
I was gonna say that, which was actually
because we've had
Regan's
Laszlo,
brother's name.
we've had Edric. Now we've got Tristan. I think it's happened once over.
These are the canonical common names in Aurora. I mean, in Eroth. We know this. We got Laszlo, Tristan, Joey, Phil.
Oh, so right, 5.
Yeah, these are just the canonical common names. That's all.
You know, it'd be funny if the non-lethals, if we ever finished that game and had to make new characters, a whole party of Joeys.
I think we'd be able to convince at least 4 of us to do it. It just go up to Scott. What is the most common name in Eroth, Scott?
Yeah. Or is the secret freaking Black Ops Phil squad?
They're not just a family of merchants.
Sometimes there's something less in the way of business just that too much. Bring in the Phil squad.
I can't wait till he hears this. Quick note from the top. I refuse to be called a flumph. In chat, I hate those creatures. Those are the most annoying creatures I think Scott's ever roleplayed.
I mean, you just had the slug recently.
Look, that slug is gonna get his revenge, okay?
Yeah. Just while they're sleeping, drip feeds acid into their mouths. you know, someone's going to be that loud snorer type. And because it's acid, it'll get past Ophios's poison.
I was thinking reverse John Wick. They killed my master, and so I killed them. Anyway, let's jump into Tristan. We get a little bit of a backstory about Dwayne and how the Dwayne heir is trying to become the River King, and we heard this information before, but I think we learned a little bit more that he's getting all the rivers that actually flow into the rivers that are in his region, not just the rivers in his region, which is a lot of rivers.
Yeah.
And one of the bits of information that we heard that for was because Neil's character Tristan is actually from Paranea. He's from Paranea, but in order to be able to join the Paranel
The
army,
the
and
part that's into it, yeah,
yeah, I was gonna say that, but yep,
because he
he
was
went over
migrating
to
between provinces. So
right. So there's that, and then we also find out that his family has about 5 horses, and uh, he went off to enlist and failed, and I guess because he was liked by the local lord, um, he was given one of these steeds that his family breeded. So,
great, yeah.
uh, and its name is Carrick, which I was a little bit confused because I didn't know if it was because it's just slightly off from Karak. So
Probably not.
no, I'm pretty sure he wasn't thinking about it, but its name is Carrick. It's, it was really close to Karak. So
Yeah, I was going to mention that he's actually part parent, part hobgoblin as well, which
yeah,
is interesting.
his mom came from a deer, which is why he would have to.
And there's a red hobgoblin, so that's why he's slightly
Mhm.
pinkish. At least it wasn't neon pink. I mean, if he becomes that good of a rider, he could become the Pink Baron.
We'll see.
Lance Ace the Peridot.
Oh no, the Baron have unleashed the Pink Baron.
Well, you know how like the Red Baron
Oh,
was a famous pilot in World War One for German side and
right,
this sort of
right,
thing.
right. Yep, yep, yep. I know what you're
Pink
talking
Baron
about.
for
From Paradell.
yeah, may not be noble, but that's the thing with being a mounted person. You usually end up getting to nobility pretty quickly because everyone loves their horse charges, their cavalry charges.
Oh. So, anyway, what's his name? Tristan. Goodness gracious, it's gonna take me a minute to get used to that name, dude. Tristan finds himself. I think he's like champion at this point, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Oh, no, no, I'm sorry. He's a legionnaire first. I think he's gonna be joining the campaign as a champion, and he starts
okay.
off as a legionnaire because he does so well. Obviously he's getting a rank up, but he doesn't get nearly as much of a rank up as Tesh does.
Mm. Well, I mean, he did disobey that one order.
So we get some information. There's a female. She's not an officer. I kept writing that in the notes that she was an officer, but she's not an officer. There's a female soldier who actually is a cartographer, which is pretty cool. And
Yeah, I
we
think
find
she
all
has the
this
same rank
information
as
out.
him.
Yeah, yeah, she is. She is.
And they've got a hobgoblin who's in charge of them.
And the hobgoblin informs them about the large pulse of dark light coming from a deer.
That's caused the undead to come trickling out of the deer. Yeah.
Yep, this is where they get their mission. They're supposed to, because they work for they work under the wing here.
Yeah.
One, how do you say his title? I don't remember.
It's either
Dwayne.
Dwinier or Dweir. Something like that.
Yeah. But anyway, so because they work under the Dwayne, their missions are to secure the rivers and take out any undead that they find along the riverside, and to clear out an area that is
South of the river in a deer. Yeah.
so it's the southern area of Adir, and between that river from the southern area of Adir and right above Juventia, they're supposed to be setting up a buffer zone so that they can do any charges if they need to. And then he asks for a cartographer, and here's a point I'm going to say right now. The soldier that Tristan was talking to when ends up raising her hand and saying, "Hey, I'm a cartographer."
How mighty
Remember,
convenient.
remember that she raised her hand though. She volunteered herself, and she's able to go in. And because Neil was rolling so bad, he felt that she was very confident and knew so much about a deer, and was and very confident in her abilities to talk about it and go on and on about the region. Um, I don't know if that colored any of his decisions later on, but whatever. After the meeting was done, he decided he was going to go talk to the officer, um, and he was basically saying that if they're going to be fighting the undead, they need to know how to. I'm sorry, they have to acclimate their horses to the smell of the undead, and the other features of being dead
Yeah,
and
and
rotting and stuff that come.
that poor cartographer, because they were there to help acclimate their horses,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
because he was doing his best to do the ones that people weren't there to do it along with.
Mm-hmm.
But someone's
Yep.
horse got missed in that acclimation process.
Oh
It just so
man.
happened to be the photographers.
I wonder if she'll show up in the campaign.
but
Nothing
we
happened to her, so.
but we do know that at least two of them are already we're gonna fucking bite you.
Yeah, that was the crazy part. I'm wondering why. Is he specifically made sure that was a thing? Was that they weren't phased by the like rotting meat like the other horses were, and that when he tried to investigate and like pet the horses and put his hand up toward the horses, rather than trying to attack him out of frustration, they just straight up attacked him out of aggression. He was like, mm. Can you leave that one alone? So I wonder whose horses those were.
If I had to guess, it would have been the officer and one other. I don't know who the other one would have been.
That's
Unless there was
crazy,
another
man.
veteran amongst them. That's what I'd guess.
Yeah, maybe. At this point, we find out what kind of weapons he uses. He uses a lance. I think he also said later on that he definitely had a spear. Also, um, he describes himself.
No. He had
I'll
a
tell you why
lance, a
he's
shield, and then he also had a pick, which if you
yeah,
don't know
yeah,
is
he has a spear because at the end
one-handled
he was saying
thing
that
with a nice little curved spike on it. So
he has a. I was saying he has a shield because at the end when he's banging his what he's banging against his lance is a spear. He says that he's banging his spear against his lance to make as much noise as possible.
I think
So
he would have
that's.
said shield there because he was talking about using the shield
I thought
later
he
on.
said shield at first too, but I'm pretty sure he said spear.
I'm pretty sure he meant shield because there's the tapping of sticks versus the banging of a shield. Which one's going to be
Mm-hmm.
louder? Have you ever tried doing either of them?
Listen, listen. I write what people say, not what they mean. Okay. You're gonna be a chronicler. You can't write what people mean. You have to write what they say. um,
I didn't realize this is becoming the Erothian Chronicle.
Have you seen the amount of notes I take?
Yes, I have, and they always appreciate it.
Oh man. But anyway, yeah. So Tristan is along with his group, and they are actually patrolling down the river. Tristan is riding along, and the female soldier he was talking to, decides to come up and talk to him, and like hey,
Oh, why didn't I
how's things
remember that
going?
one? It's the officer's name. It was Secret.
Yes. Yes.
Fucking hell, Scott. That's a meme and a half if I ever heard one. I just look at the notes, just like because this one I've got a lot of memory stuff for. I was like, let's have a look at the notes, see what you're up to. Oh, I forgot. They've completely passed my mind and it hasn't come up yet. It was this thing secret. I would, I would, I would absolutely love if his last name was Agent.
He's a DM, Scott. That's so that Officer Secret Agent shows up in the first session. Oh man.
I completely forgot about him, and I was like, "Hang on, oh wait, we didn't talk about that yet."
So yeah, that female soldier, she comes up, she's trying to talk to Tristan, having a conversation about him. That's when we find out that he's actually half hobgoblin, because she's like, "Hey, aren't you Perrin? Why are you in Inclimé? Like you said, you live here." And he goes on to inform that his mother originally came from a deer, so you have to uh, go into Inclimé in order to become a first class citizen. Or can he become a first class citizen? Hmm. I mean, he was born here. I guess those lines are blurred.
Mm.
Maybe we'll see. Anyway,
Well, we don't exactly have many half Perrin, or
yeah,
so far that we've
yeah,
seen.
that's why
Seeing
I'm
as half
interested.
Perrin already half elves, but oh
But while the two are talking, the scout up ahead hears a roar.
a
It ends
majestic
up
eagle
being
cry.
if one saw it, it would have been an eagle. Yes, it would have been an eagle bear. But, but they end up fighting against an owl bear. One important point to make, though, is that the officer, uh, Officer Secret, says they normally wouldn't destroy the outbear's home or like drive it off of its land because they're the ones trespassing. However, they need to keep the river safe, so that they are able to do their work without being attacked from wildlife. And so they tell them to take care of it. He points out the four of them, uh, one of them being a lieutenant centurion. No, I'm sorry. Not no, he's not. One of them being a warden. One of them, and the other three just being whatever the hell they
Legionnaires,
are. uh,
they're all
yeah, and I
illustrated
think
Legionnaires.
I think this is where we find out what, because Scott went into a little bit of detail that warden is the lowest rank that can give command to other soldiers, and champion is the highest rank that does not give any command to other soldiers. So, um, and he points them all out, and then the girl, out of frustration, says, "Every time I'm with you, I I get volunteered to do something." Yet that's a strange statement because she volunteered herself last time. So
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
it's kind of weird that you're blaming everybody else for your decisions.
Maybe you shouldn't have done the first volunteering. Because now it's painted you as someone that will volunteer.
But anyway, even before, like, this is when we get to see the Tristan skill with not only riding but his ability with the lance, and he pretty much takes out that thing in like almost one hit. He gets a little bit of assistance from the female soldier who is an archer, and the warden who actually has a crossbow, which we were made clear that it is not a Stalingrad crossbow. So
Not
we
everyone
were
has the
made quite
money,
clear.
and we don't know whether Galderia would permit such sale to Paradise.
Right. That's what I was gonna say. We don't, mm, you know, Paradel is very warlike, and other people are afraid. So, but he does massive damage. I think it was like 20
I think it ended up
points
being
hit
38
points of damage.
damage total.
Yeah. Okay. So he did
I
like
think someone did
he
4,
did
someone did
over
6,
half.
and then he did and then it ran
Yeah, he did
away.
over half by
Mm.
himself.
Then it ran away, and he decided that he would just bang his shield and it's something to chase it away. And the warden also shot it again with a crossbow, which very likely killed it.
Listen, you
So
guys could abort.
there's probably going to be a conversation about why you chased it away instead of hitting it.
Yeah, we don't know if that happened, but it seems so. It seems like his character is pushing maybe chaotic neutral, chaotic good. So,
Or
but
neutral. Or neutral, good or true neutral. It's like because druids don't tend to be chaotic thing, and he's definitely being more
right, right, right.
pro nature. Not saying that he is a druid because he's clearly a cavalier, but
He didn't he's not lawful. He didn't follow orders, so that's where we end. And after we got back from the first video, I think Delric asked why he disobeyed the command, and he says that Tristan felt it was unnecessary. Also, using the excuse that he couldn't hear him because of his helmet
dangerous.
and
Yeah.
him banging on the shield and the lance already. So I'm just gonna go with shield. I don't really care. He was using it as an excuse. So that's his excuse that he would have given to command, I guess. But anyway, they drove off the owlbear. They did what they were supposed to, which is that is where Tristan ends and Galan begins. In the beginning of Galan, I'm sorry, Galan. And I knew I was saying it wrong because we had like a 5 minute conversation about how his name sounds like a gallon of milk.
Mm.
So, but Galan, we in the beginning we he not I'm sorry, not in the beginning, but there is no class or rank under Tesh's name because something happens
Mm.
later on, especially that we get to see in the first session. But we do find out his rank. I mean, yeah, his rank and his class
Yeah,
at the end.
man. But
Uh, which
one thing I don't remember is did he say what race he was? So I don't remember it.
Perrin.
Here, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's Perrin
But,
because here's why. Uh, when he left Amulta, he could have already been a second class citizen without having to take on Inclimé. But Scott was saying there would be, he first off he wouldn't mind Inclimé because he came from the Perrin military, and
yeah,
secondly,
Bolton
I mean not the
military,
Perrin,
so yeah.
a Malta, yeah, a Maltese military, and secondly because why wouldn't he try to get the perks that come with being a first class citizen? So
There's one more thing with Tristan, actually, that there's a lot of speculation that where that Albert was, that is probably the one that's nesting outside the time temple the entire time.
ah,
Because they had to get past Albert, and then I had to get past an Albert on the way out. Like
okay,
that
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that might be it, dude.
yeah. So
I
that
forgot
gives
about
us
that.
some idea of where they are, where Tristan was at that time.
Yeah, the points line up actually. Yeah, that might have been it.
That just something that came up in chat a bunch, so I figured I'd remember that. Even though we've gotten past that and back into Gallon, but
No, that's fine. It's fine to bring up. Actually, one thing with another point with Gallon is because he started in the Maltese military, he actually starts off as a Legionnaire Superior, and we actually find out the reason that I'm just gonna say it now because it happened during some down moment. That's not really important to go over. Uh, we actually found out the reason that he ended up leaving was due to a scar that reaches from his cheek to the back of his neck. I'm sorry, the back of his head. Uh, he was Chess was saying that there's no hair would have grown in that point, and I'm thinking he was the subject of some experiments going on in Malta at that time.
well, considering the end, I'd say that is also corroborated there.
So, I mean, so that makes it interesting. I wonder if he got any little special abilities from that, other than him just being an Aegis, which we find out at the end.
Spoilers, Ben. Spoilers.
It's made the spoiler podcast. I think the fun part is how he actually gets to be the Aegis, rather than just, congratulations, you're an Aegis. So what?
But he wasn't an Aegis at this point, I don't think.
No. He's just a Legionnaire Superior who fights with breastplate and a big ass sword. So
I just had a really funny image in my head when you said that. Just saying, fights with a breastplate and a big ass sword. He had a big ass sword in one hand, breastplate in the other. Whack, 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 a slash, whack, slash. Fights wearing a breastplate and using a big sword, yes. Fights with a breastplate and a big sword. Oh, damn, just like immediately that image came into my.
Did you walking around smacking people with his breastplate? Yeah, that's pretty good. Rena might want to try that one.
Superior officer goes, I want you to polish this breastplate so well you can see my face in it. Whack! Did you see your face now? Oh no, he just whacks him so hard that he sees his face in like a dent mark.
Yeah.
Can you see your face now?
I can see your face, sir.
Not that it would do that, but that was just a funny image that immediately came to mind.
Yeah. No, he's too lawful to do that kind of stuff. I was saying why I like this. I like the mission that they had. He used to be not used to, but he's used to being part of a bigger group, but they ended up choosing him and 7 other soldiers to go and do something that the Yavin here wanted done personally. And I was about to say Tesh.
I do remember saying that there were other groups also doing this.
It was well, from what Scott was saying, 2 groups split up into 4. Those are the only groups that we know from the session. But yeah, there's probably other groups doing it, like you're saying. Because I don't think the Yavin here would have thrown all his eggs in one basket.
It would have been funny if the egg was in the Yovenhere's office, but well. I'm just saying.
What's his name? Galan. Galen's group is part of the extraction and infiltration. Not infiltration. The extraction and distraction group.
Extraction and exfiltration. No.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. It's a better word. So, also sabotage, which is why they, in the beginning, sabotaged some caravan. They ended up raiding the caravan, taking the luxury goods. I believe they left some of the stuff for the regular soldiers, though, for like the slave soldiers over there. But they ended up taking like stuff like honey and all the stuff that was going toward the taskmasters. That's when we get their names. We have Minerve, who was the lieutenant tactician. She's the commander of the group of 4. Killian and Delilah, and
Hey, Delilah. I literally made that joke in chat.
I was waiting for you to make it on the podcast also. But after the successful raid of the caravan, they camp out at night somewhere fairly decent, and able to share a couple of drinks, go over some war stories. That's where we find out about what's his name, Galen, leaving Amalta and the reasons that he did so. Because 1, he feels like Amalta is not fighting for its own people, and 2, them make
really doesn't like Yovance.
And he doesn't like Yovance. So then we find out a little bit about Delilah. she ends up coming from Escaria. She is wanted.
What's a little bounty between friends?
I don't know if Tess was just saying this or if Galen said it, if he said it in character for Galen, but he was saying that, if you're wanted, that just means you did well. And but
I think that was in character.
yeah, you're probably right because Killian appears to know Delilah fairly well because when she was like, I left Ascaria because I couldn't stand the trade that Ascaria was doing with a Multa who was in turn supplying Yovance. And I knew I couldn't do anything from my homeland, so I came to Paradel and was fighting against them. He was like, you fucking liar. So
Um, Especially seeing as Scaria's got embargoes on Malta
right, yeah. So
that
there's
are kind
that
of
too.
enforced by a certain gnomish enclave, shall we say.
There is definitely that too. Yeah. But one thing that important point to point out is that Minerve points out how well the group seemed to fight together,
Like they're all synchronizing and such. Yeah.
even though it was their first time actually working as a team. And
And considering as how diverging their backgrounds were as well.
right, especially because what's his name? Galan came from a Malta, and he previously served in the Maltese army. She was saying that his fighting style is particularly parent, which is a little bit strange, but they chalked it up to him working very hard, and he got a lot of. The rest of the group ragged on him about being a kiss ass the entire night. So,
Well, that and having a stick up his ass, yeah. He
but
didn't touch any drink until the next morning. But they did find that cookie.
no, he drank a swig, and that was only when he decided to tell them about Malta and
All
what
right,
they
yeah,
did.
there's that. But he definitely drank more the next morning accidentally.
Yeah, he did.
Uh,
And then the next morning, he ended up finding that Killian did a really shit job covering their tracks. So
they needed to move quickly, so he quickly grabbed a drink of water that wasn't water, and
it was actually a very sweet breakfast with honey, those cookies. What else was in it? Like crumbs of those cookies, uh, and what he thought was water, which turned out to be vinegar
oh,
because
no, oh, no,
Killian
no, no,
put.
no, no. He thought it was vinegar, right? That just means it was bad wine, because that's pretty common in that area. Also, also, there's potentially a reference to Thronekeeper in that one. We didn't see any seals or anything, but if that had Luthera on it, I think we know which type of wine
Oh,
it was.
yeah, you're right. I didn't put that together. Oh man. Lyrian wine.
We thought it was vinegar. Yeah.
After they are able to, I think they cover their tracks a lot better this time, but they end up getting to the extra walking. Before they get to the extraction point, what's her name? Minerve walks along Galan, and she's like talking to him and saying that, asking him what the best extraction point would be. Uh, then I guess we can go into it if you want, but it's the western entrance, the southeast entrance, and the north entrance. The north being having heavy guard activity, so they wouldn't choose there. The western entrance having the regular trade in and out of the town, and the southeast having actually slave trade. And this is important because she axes him, and then she gives a rebuttal against his choice. Of course, he chooses the southeast entrance because even if things go wrong, they may be able to uh, act. Which is what her rebuttal was that um, they would want things to go wrong so that they can, free some of the slaves and that kind of thing, rather than staying quiet. But Galen thinks that everything is gonna go well. he doesn't. He doesn't think that things are gonna turn out that bad. But she points this out because she says that she asked the rest of them, and they all chose the southeast entrance, giving pretty much the same reasons. And she says it feels like a bit like deja vu, and uh, that the person giving them this mission told her to look out for these kind of things between the group. And Galen brushes this off by saying like, "Hey, it's probably no big deal. The commanders are very good at choosing who the missions would, who would be a good team for missions and that kind of thing." Yeah, so that before going into the town, they decide to hide their supplies so that they don't look like soldiers walking into the town
I
with
mean,
their
that
big
would be
ass
bad.
weapons. Especially when you're going in through the slave entrance and none of the guards recognize you. You're just walking in. It's
Yeah.
like,
Sorry, you've got to leave your combat breastplate by the door. Yeah.
due to some good rolls, though, Delilah is able to locate the other group, and she says that bad things are happening, that the guards seem to be closing in on the tavern. And Minerve gives says that they need to go and take care of that situation almost immediately. She gives the team orders, telling Galan specifically to stay out here and whatever he does to get that group back to Paradel with that information. Um, she chooses Delilah to deliver the message discreetly without actually engaging the group. Killian, because of how physical he likes to get, he's to be the distraction should things go wrong, and she will be applying pressure where needed because she's the commander of the group and she probably has the most experience doing these kind of things. So, and then basically for Tesh, for a little bit, he had to just sit there. I'm sorry, not Tesh, Galad. He had to just sit there for like a long time.
Yeah, when you're trying to hide in plain sight, that's sort of necessary.
And he's able to locate some weapons and some things that he could get just in case things go bad. Like if they go really bad, he's able to spot like a blacksmith, and there are like weapons that are damaged and they're repairing, and then there's also like the weapons that just got repaired. So he's like, okay, if things go really bad, I'll run over to that area and pick up these weapons to fight, because where they hid the supplies was way too far back for them to find. But as he's doing that, Delilah comes running and screaming. I'm sorry. Delilah doesn't run and scream. There are guards screaming and running after Delilah, and they're like, "Catch her! Catch her!" But Galen gets this feeling that this whole thing is staged, and that he shouldn't interfere just yet. He sees Delilah running with a coin purse, and Galen takes this opportunity to go up and bump into the guards to, look like, oh, I fell. And he uses that time to be able to get the information to pull the other group out. While Delilah and Minerve both take care of the situation, um, because Killian is nowhere to be seen.
You know, he was going to fuck things up.
Yep.
You know that if
mostly,
something was going to go wrong, that'd be him.
mostly due to his the nat one roll that Tesh rolled for him, but yeah, he is a fuck up, so pretty fitting that he was the one to fuck up the plane.
Yeah.
Oh man. Galen is able to get the party out safely. He's able to get the party out, the other party out safely. Oh. But yeah, anyway, he's able to do his extraction. Of course, he's worried about his other party, and they decide, hey, you know, we want to go back and help because we had to see them deal with the group, and that kind of sucks. And we really want to go back. And Galen is able to convince them otherwise. He's like, "Look, you guys got the plans and documentation, and what we came to do, it, um, is more important at the moment because we all knew what we were getting up to, and if they had to sacrifice their lives, us going back would just make that entire thing for naught. So the group decides, okay, fine, we'll wait a little while and we'll go back in the morning. Um, in the morning, though, Minerve shows up. She's beaten, battered, and everything. She's using a giant uh, I guess it would be a pretty big branch, but she's using a branch to try and balance herself like a crutch. And she shows up and she informs them that Delilah was taken into slavery. And that she says, and in the beginning, she begins saying probably, but she says he didn't make it. Killing didn't make it. Uh, he ended up coming too late, and they swiftly took care of him. So the the group just has to go back to Paradel. Uh, I guess they were successful.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they just had a lot of casualties. At this point, I think I think Staga was getting ready to drop something here.
Oh, he definitely dropped Fortune's favor to try and
Oh, he dropped the fortune
help
favor.
her get out of slavery. Yeah, I don't know, but it's a route that Scott wasn't expecting. So
Oh, okay. Yeah, 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 yeah.
if I had to guess, Icarus, but yeah. But there's also potential
Okay.
that.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because he did drop a fortune favor. Yeah, 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 right. Because I seen the conversation in chat. So,
Yeah.
um, and 2 weeks later, Galen is getting ready to receive his
Promotion.
promotion, which everyone was expecting. But he ends up coming up on a certain meeting.
Yeah, so meeting a certain character where the entire line of questioning is not so much about what do you actually do, but what did you notice? And it's like the entire time it's like, it's just what I did, what I did, what I did. Oh, you mean that? Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just wondering whether it's proximity or duration. Yeah, so my favorite little tyrant popped up again. So we know that he's definitely been in part of the psionic training program.
Mm-hmm. She described it as a lot of meditation.
Yeah, I mean, she basically explained to him that there's no invasive experimentation, there's no spells cast, anything like that. It's all like mental exercises and doing things by rote, getting more complicated things done by rote and things like that. Which is probably a lot better than anything he's experienced in a Malta, to be honest.
And a Malta, exactly. And that is where the session ends. Pretty fucking cool ending. Very nice. Chat exploded.
It wasn't there, but yeah, the description was pretty much the dead giveaway.
Right, right. I mean, I didn't hear a lot of that description at first. I was paying attention to both work and what was going on. So, but yeah, definitely cool ending. Very well. I would say the ending was very unexpected for me. Like I did not expect to see Jen there. That answers our. I think it was last week. Our conversation about where maybe what Jen is doing and what towns her in what's his name 13 might be in.
13 were.
So
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think Tish knows what he's going to get into with that because she's very much going to be interested in every single person that joins up for the program because she will not want any one of them to fail. Or if they do fail, she's going to be on them really freaking hard because every single one of them is going to reflect on her now. And she's very much a I want all my position, I want all my power, and if you're going to get in my way, I'm going to crush you. So if you succeed, she's gonna be your best friend. If you're gonna fail, you're gonna find out why she's neutral evil. She's also a wizard that's got interrogation and things like that, so it's very much a investigation by either identifying the object or by forcing you to tell her what it is.
What it is. One thing I'm very interested in though is the hype train is not going to be doing limit breaks. They're going to be activating someone's limit break on the show. I'm
Well, not
interested
necessarily
in.
activating them, but like charging them for them to use. Yeah. I mean, it'd be pretty fucking awkward if the limit break was an explosion, right? All of a sudden,
Yeah, no,
there's a fifth level hype train, and like it automatically activates the limit break at the highest fucking point that it could be.
right. But
I think it's just
activate,
charging them. I don't think it's activating them.
no, by activate, I meant they're able to use them. I didn't mean
Yeah.
like being able, making them go off. That'd be a little bit insane. But
Yeah, it would be.
just
like,
drop a hype.
like you know how like the hype train usually starts at like the start of the episode, right? Just sitting down for breakfast. Oh no, it's that time again.
Yeah, that would be insane. They just like going to. All right, it's time for you guys to take a long rest. Oh wait, hype train started, so.
You wake up inside the inn and it's it's raining on you for some reason.
It's like I guess I got to get up and go Omni Slash for no reason whatsoever.
Just like snoring, rolls over in bed, slash.
But I was gonna say, I wonder if Tristan is a part of that program as well. He just doesn't have as much ability as Gallon is going to be getting, because we haven't seen anything. I wonder what I wonder what limit breaks are, but you know, I'm kind of hoping the touches is just like a very unique thing, but we'll see, because it seems like Tristan has quite a bit of ability that people are interested in as well.
It's probably some sort of like heroic charge strike sort of thing, because he's pretty much the cavalryman. That's the sort of thing, like the decisive sort of cavalry charge sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. That's what I'm pretty much hoping for. One other piece of information that I think we learned, but maybe we learned this episode, but we might have known it a little bit. Yvonne and Peridot still have a bit of trading going on, even while they're at war.
But silly if you ask me, but I suppose they don't really have much way of choice. And also, you never know with nobles. Nobles are always looking for themselves.
True, you're right. So
the ones that don't, especially in Yovance, well, we've had an example of that, and no one likes them.
I was just pointing that out because it's a little bit awkward, but to be at war with a whole nation and decide, let's still trade with them. It's fine. Don't worry about it. But that's the only reason I pointed that little bit out.
Yeah. I've still got the image of this random freaking explosion going in my head. That in the combat breastplate.
Oh man. But everyone, thank you for listening to this episode. We thank all the players. Very excited to see what is in store for us with Inclimé. Happy to
no
see
pressure, Jake. No pressure.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say that. Oh man. But definitely fun episodes this week. Both Inclimé and Regicide get more anime by the week, so
yeah.
We'll see.
I think the most vociferous complaint about that though was Josh, so I think they're fine.
right, guys. Well, have a great week. Hope your families are safe. Also, make sure you put your hashtag T's for the Strongs out there. We're looking. And make sure you post your scooter gifts. We're good.
Yeah, as usual, just target the Aurorum community.
Mhm.
And by that I mean the chat, not everyone else. Thank you. Bye.
Have a good one, everyone.